Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that I'm audible. My name is Edward Siweya. Thank you very much for joining me into today's session. I'm going to remove video and it will only be audio interruption in relation to the quality of the conversation. Thank you very much for joining us into today's session. Today's session is a Q&A, question and answers. Before I start, you will recall that week before last, we ran a comprehensive 4-part series where on Monday, we were dealing with the question of retirement concepts, and then on Tuesday we dealt with example, which was in the form of an analysis, and again on Wednesday we dealt with the question of resign and transfer. Also, further concluding our part 4, wherein we're dealing with the question of resign and cash. Consequently, members came and asked questions which needed to be clarified. I did allude to the fact that today we'll be hosting a live Q&A session, where as members you will be able to ask questions as much as you want, so that ultimately you could get answers to the questions that you want answered. So today is meant to be that day where indeed we are able to answer you fully on all the questions that we have. So feel free to ask questions and we are going to answer you. So today it's a Q&A, question and answers, and you are welcome to ask us any question that you have at your disposal relating to retirement as well as resignation. After we ran these workshops, members have been engaging us through the Retirement Benefit Counseling Program, Center for Retirement and Advice call center, which is 086-001-7402, the contact details. And members have been looking for clarity to around what they have picked up as an area that requires clarifications. So I will go through these questions one by one. And if you have joined us and you've got a question, please feel free to ask any question that we have at your disposal, and we will be able to answer you without any challenges. You will recall that on Monday, and this Monday in reference is Monday, which was for week before last. And if I have my calendar here, Monday the 15th, it was the concept around retirement. The 16th of on the 17th of April, we ran retirement. concept. On the 18th, which was Tuesday, it was analysis of the benefit statement. On the 19th, it was resign and transfer workshop, which was part 3. And on the 21st, which was Friday, we ran part 2, part 4 of resign and cash. Now, based on the questions we received from the Center for Retirement and Advice call center, number 086-001-7402, we felt that we should host this session so that we can clarify those questions. Starting with retirement questions, members were calling to ask, Edward, based on the part 1 and part 2, especially part 1, which took place on Monday, 17th, what is the difference between a member who retires with 10 years of service and a member who retires with 10 years or less service? That was the first question. The second question was, what will happen if I have medical aid and I need to continue with my medical aid, such as GEMS? What will happen to such a member? 3, another member asked, am I able to leave behind my gratuity? Because you know that when you retire with GEPF, GEPF will pay you gratuity, which is a lump sum, into the bank account, and the balance will be used to pay you monthly pension for life. Now, the question was, what will happen if I choose not to receive the gratuity? Do I have that choice with GEPF? And if I do have that choice, what can I be paid as a monthly income? Maybe let me address these 3 questions before I look into other additional questions. Now, the first question is, what is the difference, or how does GEPF, being Government Employees Pension Fund, treat a member who has worked for his or her employer and is retiring with less than 10 years, as compared to the member who is retiring with 10 years or more? To answer that question, GEPF has got a clear distinction between the member who is having less than 10 years at retirement of service as compared to the member who is having more than 10 years of pensionable service. The difference is as follows. Any member who retires with 10 years or less in service, that member will be paid gratuity only. Gratuity in this instance refers to lump sum, once-off lump sum. That member will be paid gratuity only. So with that gratuity, you actually can instruct or inform the human resource and the intern informing GEPF that you like to receive that gratuity as a cash lump sum into the bank account, or you like to transfer that gratuity into an externally approved retirement fund. From there, you are going to retire formally. That is in the event you've got 10 years or less of service as at date of retirement. Then if that is the case, GEPF will not pay you an annuity. They will not pay you an annuity. However, for anyone who is having 10 years or less, their benefits will be boosted by 33%, meaning GEPF will pay 1.33 of gratuity. And then with that lump sum, you choose whether you want to transfer it to an externally approved retirement fund, or option 2, you want to cash that lump sum. But once you've got 10 years or more of pensionable service, then GEPF says, with you, we are going to pay you gratuity, which is a once-off lump sum, plus an annuity, which is a a monthly income or pension. And that monthly income or pension will be paid to you for life. And that annuity will increase every year by an increase as determined by GEPF Board of Trustees. So I hope I've clarified that one there, the distinction between someone retiring with 10 years or less. Let's say you retire with 9 years, 8 years, 7 years, vis-a-vis someone retiring with 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, 30 years. The two retirees are treated differently. Anyone retiring with less than 10 years of service, pensionable service, you are only gonna be paid a gratuity, which is a lump sum. And at that stage, you are going to choose how you want that gratuity to be treated. Do you want to transfer it to an externally approved retirement fund, or you want that lump sum to be paid into a bank account? And if you retire with 10 years or more of pensionable service, then GEPF is going to pay you once-off lump sum called gratuity, as well as is going to pay you monthly annuity. And that annuity will increase year in, year out, and the increase will be determined by Board of Trustees or GEPF Board of Trustees. The second question, coming from a retirement workshop, part 1, part 2, especially part 1, was, now that here I have actually retired, will I be paid my monthly pension for the rest of my life, or will it cease in between? Meaning the income will cut in between. Going to be paid. You are going to be paid pension for life. It is only the guaranteed period that ceases, meaning the guaranteed period, it's applicable for 5 years, 60 months. What that means is that when you retire at age 60, GEPF guarantees you 5 years, and GEPF says, as a pensioner, we guarantee you for 5 years that should you live or should you die between date of retirement to 5 years, the remaining period we are going to pay your beneficiaries lump sum. But should you leave after 5 years, the nominated beneficiaries will fall off. And the only thing that will apply as at that stage will be the spousal pension if you've got a spouse, or child pension if at 65 plus you've got children below the age of 22 who are in good health, or if you've got a child who is physically or mentally disabled, because that child, irrespective of how old they are regarded as minor, then GEPF is going to pay them for the rest of their life their child pension. If after if you die in let's say you retire at age 60, year one you live, at 61, exactly when your birthday, you pass on, 4 years will be remaining. When 4 years remaining, that is 48 months. The 48 months will be timed by your monthly income, and that will be the lump sum that will be paid to your beneficiaries. So let me give an example. You earn an annuity of 10,000 rand, and then you retire at 60, you pass on at 61, God forbid. Then it means you've got 4 years remaining to achieve 5-year guarantee period. Then what will happen is that they are going to take 10,000 times 48 months remaining. That will be 480,000 that will be paid to your beneficiaries. In the event where you live year 1, year 2, year 3, you pass on, it means at that point you are 63, then 2 years is remaining. Then they are going to take 24 months times 10,000, that is 240,000. Once you live 63, 64, 65 on your birthday, what will happen there is that exactly on your birthday when you are 65, the beneficiary nomination will fall off. It will taper to, it will be day 0. There won't be any lump sum payable to beneficiaries. The only thing that GPF eyes will look for will be your spouse, if you've got a spouse, as a date of passing on after 5 years, or if you've got children below the age of 22, or if anyway funeral policy will pay of 15,000, it is irrespective of whether you pass on within 5 years or not. That one is given. As long as you retire with GPF, 5 years is there for you as a benefit. Now, we dealt with the question of the difference between period wherein someone retires with 10 years or less, or someone retires with 10 years or more. We've clarified that, and then we also clarified the issue of guaranteed period. Let me also touch on the issue of child pension, because this seems to be a confusing area. Child pension applies to any GEPF member who is still within employment or at retirement. But if you are at retirement, or even if when you are still at employment, your children must be at least below the age of 22. Once your children are 22 and above, then the child pension ceases to exist. That is the criteria. You might be a retiree or you are still employed. As long as your children are above the age of 22, when you pass on, either in service or at retirement, you will, or the children will not qualify for child pension. So what that means effectively is that any member who retires and live for 5 years or more and does not have a spouse and children are 22 years and above, child or children are 22 years and above, then what that means is that effectively the child or children will not receive child pension. And if you pass on after 5 years, you don't have a spouse, that the family will get is the 15,000 taxable funeral policy. That's all. That's all that they will be. So I hope this point is well clarified, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that it is well clarified and it makes sense. I hope this point is well clarified and it makes sense. For those delegates who have joined us today, please feel free to ask questions. Poor. I hope that I'm audible where you are. I see that our network is a bit poor. I hope that I'm audible where you are. Then medical aid. It's another question that keeps on coming. Edward, how do I qualify for medical aid? I want to retire, but I also want to join medical aid funding. How do I join medical aid funding? The answer to the question is, once you retire through normal circumstances, that is, you retire because of age, you are 60, you are 65, or any other year from minimum age 55. To qualify for medical aid, you must have 15 years service, plus you must not have broken medical aid contribution for a full year in the year of exit. That's the requirement. That is the requirement. However, if you retire due to ill health, please be aware that effectively, because you are retiring due to ill health, then you will only need 10 years service, unlike when you retire through normal retirement. When you retire through ill health, you'll only need 10 years service, but make sure that in the year of exit, you don't break membership, medical aid membership. Then you'll qualify for subsidy. You'll qualify for subsidy. So that's what it means. That is critical, especially at a level where you need to clarify and make sure that you qualify properly for medical aid, because many members ask that question and they don't understand it properly. So it's very important that you understand how medical aid works. So I hope I've clarified the issue of medical aid. Delegates, please feel free to ask any question that you have so that we are able to assist you with all the questions that we have. This is platform, don't hesitate. Feel free to ask and we'll clarify. The stage is yours. Feel free to clarify and then we will pick it up from there. The stage is yours. Feel free to ask any question that you have at your disposal, and we'll make sure that we assist you to the best of our on being asked, especially around members who are thinking or contemplating retirement. The question is, Edward, now that I am 62 and I want to retire, I see that GEPF has given me benefits or what we can call benefit statement. Now, what I want to, I see that the benefit statement is showing me gratuity as well as annuity. I'm 63 years old. I'm not yet 65 years old. So does it mean that, no, I'm 62 years old. I've got 3 years to go to 65, but I want to retire now. I'm exhausted at 62. Does it mean that GEPF is going to give me the gratuity that I see on the benefit statement, or will GEPF pay me differently? The answer to the question is GEPF will pay you differently. What you see on the benefit statement when you are above 60 years, we know that when you are, maybe let me start here. When you are 55 to 59 years, 11 months, we know that when you choose to retire, GEPF is going to reduce your gratuity as well as your annuity by 0.33% per month times the period from date of early retirement to age 60. So what does that mean? It means if you are 55 years old and you want to retire, that is taking early retirement, then you still have 5 years left from 55 to 60. That 5 years is 60 months. Then it means GEPF is going to deduct, is going to take 60 months times 0.33%. And once it does that, then it is going to get a percentage which is going to reduce your gratuity and your annuity. But what happened when you are 63 or 62 in this instance? And on the benefit statement, you see 1.5 million. And on the annuity, 1.5 million is the gratuity. And the annuity, you see 30,000 per month. You are 62 years old. Many members make this cardinal mistake where they say, no, I'm 62, I'm retiring, I will get 1.5 million, I will also get 30,000 before tax. No. The 1.5 million as well as the 30,000 on the benefit statement, there's assumed that you are 65 years old. And the moment you are not 65 years old, it means then you won't be paid that 1.5 million that you see on the benefit statement, and equally you won't be paid the 30,000 that you see on the benefit statement. These amounts are going to be adjusted lower. I always refer to members to say, look at the ill health values, because the ill health has assumed that you have fallen ill as at date of the statement. So that is the realistic value that they are going to pay you when you are at age 62. Because if you were to fall sick and you need to be paid gratuity, they will pay you ill health as at benefit statement date. And if you were to fall ill at 62, they'll pay you annuity as per statement date. So it is ideal to know then that actually it is prudent to use the moment you are above the age of 60. But if you are 55 to 59, 11 months, it's better you use 0.33% per month. That is best. Then you'll have protected yourself by so doing. So these are some of the questions that pop up from time to time from members in relation to the question of the intricacies related to GEPF. Today is not a presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a Q&A. It's an opportunity where you ask questions which are bothering you. You ask questions where you need clarity, and we will be able to answer. Today's process is not meant to direct you and to lead you in any way at all. It is meant for you to ask all the questions related to retire and resign, so that ultimately you are answered. So I hope with this little that I've touched on around the question of retire with GEPF has assisted you. Let me move to resign. You will remember from part 3 and part 4, we dealt with resignation. Many members confuse this subject a lot. Members will say, no, I am 57 years old, I want to resign, and I want lump sum to be paid into my bank account. And the question then becomes, will I be able to get 550,000 default tax-free amount or not? What is very important here is that once you opt to resign from GEPF, you are faced with two options. Do you resign in cash or do you resign in transfer? Those are the two options that face you. When you resign in cash, you are effectively deciding. Once you resign in cash, you are effectively deciding to exit the retirement funding system in general. Then you are forsaking the 550,000 tax-free in favor of 27,500 tax-free. That point is important to note, because you only will be able to get 550,000 tax-free when you resign and transfer. Because when you resign and transfer, effectively, what are you doing? You are choosing to retire. It's a retirement decision. But you've chosen to retire not within the GEPF system, but you've chosen within the Pension Fund Act system. That is why when you resign, you transfer, then you will get 550,000. But once you resign in cash, which majority of the members do, you only get 27,500 tax-free. Plus vested right tax-free. Vested right is any year up to 1998, 1 March. So if you started working 1990, from 1990 to 1 March 1998, those years are tax-free, because those members were not paying tax at all. So that point is very important to make. So in relation to resignation, that's all that I wanted to clarify. The opportunity is yours to ask questions and to be clarified. This platform is not for me as Edward Siweya to talk. No, it's for you to ask questions and to be clarified. So for me, it's just to clarify areas which we received from Center for Retirement and Advice call center 086-001-7402 hotline, which members called to seek clarity. Besides that, I was envisaging that you are going to call us for clarity. But in the absence of questions, then it means our presentations were quality enough to answer all your questions, and members do not have additional questions. It's critical that we run workshops, but we also give you an opportunity to ask questions, because we don't want to assume that our workshops are clear enough to you not to want to ask questions. But if you don't have any questions, then I'm happy. It means we have done our functions. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to dial 086 001 7402 from 8 a.m. up to 4:30 p.m. That call is going to be met by a consultant who is going to take your details, and they will pass your details to us, and we are going to call you. When you've got clarity-seeking questions, or when you want to enroll yourself into retirement benefit counseling program. By retirement benefit counseling program, it's when you want to be taken through a due diligence process of how best to retire or how best to resign. That's what it means. So we encourage you to call 086 001 7402. It's a nationwide hotline. When you've got clarity-seeking questions related to retire or resign, or when you want to be taken through retirement benefit counseling. Whether you've decided to retire is fine. You can enroll into retirement benefit counseling. Even when you want to retire, you can enroll into retirement benefit counseling. Or when you are not sure whether to retire or to resign, you can enroll into retirement benefit counseling. And once the consultant have taken on primary data, they will pass that information to us, and we will be able to assist you. So today's session was a Q&A, and it was for you to ask as much questions as you have. I'm happy that members are clarified and they don't have questions. With that said, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your audience. We fully appreciate it. We don't take for granted that we've got 1, 2, 3, or 5 members. No, it's not about the number. You who has joined us, we value you, because you joined on the basis that you need to be answered on certain questions. And we value your participation. We value you being with us on this platform. And we look forward to indeed hosting you into future sessions. I hope the network was audible enough and you were able to hear me enough. I know that I'm battling network. I'm on a load shedding where I am. So it was part of the video. But thank you very much for joining us. We fully appreciate it. Very much appreciate your attendance. Have a good